Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Addicted to Success podcast. I'm your host, Joel Brown. I'm here today with a very familiar guest. He's been on the podcast a couple times. We've rocked stages together. Mr. Peter Voogd. Wow, the author of 6 Months to Six Figures. He also had a great endorsement from Robert Kiyosaki from Forbes magazine as well for his book, 7 Rules to Seven Figures, which is unheard of. And, I know Peter, I've known him for 14 years, going on probably even longer than that, maybe 15, right? And we've known each other ever since we were in our early 20s. And I've seen the growth on Peter, seen the impact that he's made, the lives that he has changed. Millions of dollars have come through that he has been able to be the currency conductor for and contribute for impact in this world. But also, everyone that I know that has worked with Peter speaks so highly of him as well. And he's a father, man, raising 5 kids right now. So just imagine that. Awesome stuff. Brother, I'm so happy that you're here back on the podcast. I'm sure a lot's changed since we last connected many years ago around COVID times. That was crazy. And here we are today. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. And I'm doing this because of who you are. I'm doing this podcast. Summers I usually travel a lot with the family. Kids have camps, all these things. But I decided to hop on this while the house is chaotic. Of course, I have an amazing wife that allows me to do this. But if it wasn't for who you are as a human being, I wouldn't do this. So respect to you I continue to see you grow as well. You know what I mean? I've seen you grow like crazy. Early 20-year-old Joel was crazy. He's calmed down a little bit.
Just a little bit. Now I have a son. Now grow. You have kids. Like, so at some point, you got to grow up.
100%. And sadly, some people don't. You know what I mean?
That's right.
You do have to grow up. And I feel like once you have a kid and you care for someone more than yourself, that's when you start to really mature.
Yeah, it's a gift from God too, man. To take you to that next level. A lot of people don't understand what it's like in the area of growth that you get to having a kid until it happens. What did you believe about success in your 20s back when you and I first met each other that you no longer believe now?
Good question. It was really worldly based. It was really accomplishment based, money based, result based, numbers based, status based. Now I think it's more spiritual. It's peace. It's privacy. Here's an example. I was so obsessed. I felt like a failure unless my schedule was packed. Now I feel like a failure if my schedule is packed and not empty. So it switched. I used to be like, man, I feel like a failure because I have a little opening right here. I need to maximize my schedule and work 24/7 and be a hustler. I felt like a failure. Now I need my schedule pretty much empty to feel like I'm really doing the right work and being with my kids and my wife first. So just total shift. Right now, I feel like when I have an open schedule, I'm proud because I have peace, I have privacy, and I have my purpose and my priorities on lock. So many things have changed. We could talk about this all podcast, man. I thought it was all about the results, all about the book sales, all about the money. Now I have extended to really understanding it's about, yes, who you are as a person, your relationship with God, but it's more about your client's success. My business blew up when I started realizing the purpose of business is to create raving fans and real raving customers. I used to think it was more about me. I was more selfish, like trying to get success so I could show people I'm successful, to prove myself. Now it's not about me. Now it's more about being a servant and putting people first, and making sure I put my clients first, my customers first, my family first, my wife first. I was having a conversation with my 14-year-old a while back, and he was talking about he doesn't feel like doing something. And I told him, you're going to be a young man that provides safety and protection for a family. Most of the things I do all day, every day, I don't feel like doing, and they're not just for me. It's for my wife, for my kids, for my clients. But being a servant is the most fulfilling thing I've ever done. So to keep in mind, I'm in my early 20s. I make my first $1 million. I'm bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, Joel. I'm fired up and excited. But something was not right. I was missing something. I couldn't sleep at night. I was frustrated, discouraged. I was pissed off. And it was all built off anger. Now, even though different things have changed in my business. I might not get results in certain areas. The business still does well. And I've been blessed with investments and how I've structured my business that I can have freedom. But now I have so much more peace, and everything comes from a place of serving and faithfulness and love and not anger. So everything's changed, man. I mean, everything has changed since my 20s.
Give me an example of anger. How did that show up? Apart from the obvious, right?
Yeah, I think I wanted to show people that I was the best, and I could prove people wrong by showing them that I am the best speaker. I'm the best this. Now it's more, how can I serve as many people as possible? How can I bring people closer to the kingdom? And there's just no proving yes, it was my relationship with God got stronger, but I gave up the need to be liked. And I realized early on that most of the things I did were trying to show people and show myself I was worthy of it. But it switched once I started getting successful and actually seeing the success and feeling the fulfillment of serving and seeing my numbers go up, my book selling almost 1 million copies. Once I started really making real money, I actually didn't want to share it. I wanted to be quiet. So it's strange because when I didn't have as much money, I wanted to tell everybody how much money I had. When my book didn't sell a lot of copies, I was like, my book's going to crush it. I have so many copies sold. But now that it sells a lot of copies and it's actually really successful, I don't really talk about it. That's why I know when a lot of young kids, and we can help a lot of young entrepreneurs that are bragging all day online about money and their Ferraris and how much they have, I know they actually don't have that much. Or they don't have a great relationship with money because they have to show people they have money. And once you have real money, it's you're more quiet. Yeah. So things have just changed based on why I do things, how I do things, and everything else. So that's what it was. Now I don't prove people wrong. And now I don't need to prove myself right because I know exactly who I am. And I've always known myself, but it's just grown in a deeper way where I never feared what people thought, but now I can sleep amazing. I could look in the mirror, I could smile and be so proud because I've made the right decision and the right sacrifices, and I know exactly where I'm supposed to be. So it's hard to explain and it's hard to put into words, but the inner feeling of the peace and being able to sleep good and sleep pure and look in the mirror and be proud is priceless. I know people, Joel, making hundreds of millions of dollars, but they can't look at themselves in the mirror.
Yeah, I believe you. Yeah. Man, it's interesting. You're pouring out right now. I love this, and I can see the contrast. I know. I know. You've got a lot in you that you got to get out there, and that's another reason why you're running your event. You got multiple events coming up. I mean, I know you don't want to talk about the book sales and that. Let me just plug it in. But look, guys, he's close to 1 million copies, and the reason why I'm sharing that is because it's impressive when someone gets to a place where maybe you were wanting to scream it from the mountaintops when you at maybe 100,000 copies and thought it was a huge deal. And it is, by the way, for anybody to sell even 1,000 copies of books nowadays. But to get close to 1 million and to be humble about it, very impressed, man. I got a little respect for you. But ultimately it's about the impact it's creating on the other side of it. The thing I love about a book, and I'm going to get to this in a second, because I actually was listening to some old recordings of you and I when we were younger the other day. I'm writing my book right now. This is the book that literally are my journal entries over 18 years as a coach, speaker, content creator, right? And I found a lot of really pinnacle moments were actually the times where you and I connected. And I'm very grateful for you as a friend. Just to see the growth leaps around those times as well. And it's so important who you keep around you, And so I value that a lot. And I think it's important what you're doing, bringing people into rooms, into retreats, events, masterminds, getting just solid people around each other. Tony Robbins said something on the Addicted to Success podcast many years ago when we had him on. And I asked him a question, like, how do we have a better quality life? And he said this, and this really ties to what you said. He says, you need to make more and better quality decisions. And he says, and decisions are made moment to moment, day by day, week by week, right? It's like it happens over time. And that's the thing that I notice about you, Peter, is in our early 20s, you were like one of the only friends of mine at the time that was investing in real estate, getting into property. You were early on crypto. You were like big into legacy and all that before so many of our friends were talking about those things. So like, what is it, bro? How do we tap into your mind to like think about what's on the horizon? Because I see you as a sort of like a futurist. You see things on the curve and you get ahead of the puck.
Well, you know what's really funny about you saying that is I got a message. I don't know where my phone is. I got a message 2 days ago from someone on Instagram, and they said, I didn't even know. They said, I didn't know what a podcast was until I listened to your podcast. And they said, I don't remember there being any other podcasts. And I realized we started our podcast in 15. And I thought about, wow, where did I see podcasts going that I started in 15? Now podcasts are crazy, right? But we did 400 episodes before most people had a podcast. And I've
Yeah.
always, almost to a fault, Joel, my wife will tell you, I'm so future focused. Sometimes it was hard for me to enjoy the moment because I'm so delayed gratification because I want to provide for my family and be the best man I could be so bad. I'm everything. And my wife had to tell me to relax and enjoy the moment because I was so focused on like what's next. Because I used to make decisions based off truth, absolute truth, and what my 80-year-old think would sell, what 80-year-old would say. So if I make those decisions based off truth, like real truth, what my values were, what I wanted, what I knew I wanted, and then I said, okay, would 80-year-old Peter be proud of this? And a lot of times, if it was a no, I'd say no. So I've just had that early on that I saw the importance of making a decision now that's going to pay dividends years down the road. And I also saw a lot of destruction with part of my family, with certain friends about focusing so much on that. You only live once, like live in the moment. That lifestyle is detrimental. And I saw it mess up so many people not focusing on the big picture, not focusing on the long game. So for me, what I used to do is I had a one-page productivity plan, and I always had my 6 month and my year goal mapped out, and I reverse engineered everything. And then I've always tried to see where things were going because I heard a quote early on, and I don't remember who said it, but they said really successful, fulfilled people focus on the future 9 to 1 compared to average people. Average people either focus on the past or they're only in the moment. And I said, and I was young, and I said, dang, I need to focus on the future. So I think that's where it came from. And now being a dad, it's like I'm providing for 7 people. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
have multiple properties. I have Airbnbs. I have a lot of real estate, a fourplex. I have in different areas, and I have a wife and 5 kids. So it's not about me no more. So it's like I have to be on my game. I have to make sure my investments are good. I have the right team. I have a great filter system. So one of the things that helped me is having an elite filter system to filter in like what's most important. It's nearly impossible. I don't say this in a bragging way at all. It's in a humble way, but it's nearly impossible to get a hold of me. Impossible. My phone's on do not disturb 24/7 unless I know and respect you. I mean, for you, it's easy to get a hold of me because you're you. For Gerard, it's easier. But at the same time, I protect my peace and I protect my family. So I don't know how I got to that, but I've always thought about the future. So I appreciate you noticing that.
Yeah.
And someone just brought that up 2 days ago, which is really funny. So I
That's
don't know, man. I've
awesome.
just always tried to think about what's next.
Yeah. Dude, the conversations you and I have had over the years, we're hanging out in Santa Barbara, hanging out in on the balcony in the jacuzzi, hanging out with our friends, having conversation. Like, I wish back then we could just hit record.
I know.
There'd be so much you could put into books. You could have series of it because when you have incredible minds that come together as well, there's only so much that you can see, right? And for you, you've brought so much to the table for so many people, and I think you actually bringing people together now, and that this is something that supersedes this age of AI that we're in. Actually having that human connection, having people come in that are close in proximity, like elite level thinkers. This is how we're going to be able to innovate and take our businesses, our families to a whole new level. So you have a lot of, let's say, 7, 8, 9-figure people, right? Operators, entrepreneurs, et cetera. They come in. What do you think they're looking for? Like, what is it that they're looking for in that? Because, like, what would make someone say, hey, I'm going to go out, spend some time, an event, a mastermind around, Peter and others? What are they specifically looking for?
Well, there's two types of people. So in the past 8 months, I've been very blessed to speak at five different events, and these aren't big events. These are masterminds with just millionaires. So I went to Tokyo. I spoke to 75 high-level entrepreneurs. I spoke at Gerard's high-level event in North Carolina. I spoke at an event in San Diego. I spoke at an event in Texas. I spoke at an event in LA, and all of these guys and girls were already super successful. And what I realized in deep conversation is one, they wanted more freedom. They didn't want more. One guy was making 30 million a month, like high level. He's pretty well known, 30 million a month. But he said he had 1,000 employees and he couldn't even take a day off. He said he's stressed out. Another guy was doing, I think he was doing about 1 million a month. Successful guy on paper, has any car he wants, 1 million a month, you could live a great life, right? But he said, I realize how many hotel cards I have. And I think he had two or three kids. He said, I realize every hotel card I see, I think of all the missed dinners that I have with my kids. And he's like, I need to get that back and structure my business to where I have freedom and autonomy. And now with leverage, with AI, with all the tools, if you only make more money when you work more hours, you're just building a successful prison. And most people I see are building prisons. They're like, I have a successful prison. It's like, well, you still have a prison. So what these people want is they want to grow their business. They do want to continue getting results, but they don't want to do it at the expense of working 70, 80, 90 hours a week and missing things that matter. And a lot of them, Joel, they ask me, how do you do it? I don't think I could ever have kids or a wife because I'm so busy. That's what a lot of them think that. They're like, I don't know how I could ever have a wife and kids because I'm so busy. So that's what they want. They want freedom. And they want a lifestyle they're proud of. Because if you build $100 million business, in my opinion, and you don't have a lifestyle you're proud of, you did it all wrong. You did it all wrong. Because no one gets to the end of life and goes, you know what? Man, I wish I had more transactions. I don't know why I didn't have more transactions. I wish I had more transactions. No one ever says that. They say, I wish I had better relationships. I wish I spent more time with people I cared about. A big one that I hear people say now as they're older is, I wish I had more kids. Because of course they have, and you're in this. We talk to people, Joel, that say, I have one kid. I don't think we're going to have another because it's so tough. Short-term thinking. Think long-term. It's better for the kid to have a brother or sister. Multiple kids, it's so much better because they fight for attention, and it's good that you can't give one kid a ton of attention. So it's just a cool dynamic. They can raise each other. They can help each other. They can beat up each other. It's amazing having 5 kids because there's so much good, positive chaos. So I see people not thinking long term about their business. They're not building the business to grow and scale to exit. They're just kind of in a hamster wheel, just like they don't know what's going on 6 months from now. So Joel, I always knew that I was unemployable. I always knew I dropped out of school my senior year in business school at U of O. I had one job. I quit after 3 months. I couldn't take it. I never had another job. I know I couldn't work for somebody, and I know I can't be told what to do. So early on in my early 20s, I'm like, I have to do something that allows me to have flexibility and freedom. That as I grow the business, my freedom must grow too. I shouldn't be trapped the more I work. It needs to be have more freedom. So I knew that. That's why I created the Game Changers Academy. I wrote my book. I did some of my masterminds. So I think what they want is they want a online scalable business that doesn't require just their time. They want more freedom, more choices to do what they want on their terms. They want time freedom, location freedom. Of course, they want financial freedom, but they also want mental freedom. And most don't have that. Having mental freedom, I would take $1 million less a year, a couple $1 million less a year, and have mental freedom, peace of mind, and feel, I don't want to say content because that's the wrong word, but feel pure and feel like I'm living my life to the best of my ability, then always feel stressed that I'm not enough. And I'll tell you where this was really hammered and cemented home. I'm hanging out with Mike Tyson 3 days. I interview him, we talk, we go out to dinner, me and Michael Francis, Patrick Bet-David was there, he's a good friend, and I'm talking to Mike, and he said, Peter, he looked me in the eye, and I have video of this. He goes, none of it was worth my peace. The belts, the $400 million, the fame, none of it was worth my peace. So I see these entrepreneurs that aren't even close to Mike Tyson's success, and they're just reaching. It's not going to do nothing when you get there. The 6 million a year is the same as the 8 million a year. the $50 million exit, the same with the $200 million exit, right? So it's just understanding that and looking at people that are older that share with me these things about you got to think the big picture. Like you want peace, you
Yeah.
want flexibility to travel and do what you want. And most people don't have that. And getting that validation from Tyson, like someone like that, that's like it's not worth it. And he was the biggest person on planet Earth. He still is. But he would take all that away to have more peace.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. He's a funny guy too, man. I love where he's
Really?
at now because he always has just said things the way he wants to, but I think as he gets even older, he says it even more in a blunt way. You know, it's pretty funny. So let's like stay on the topic of AI because I think there's something there. Now that AI can give everyone strategy, where do you think we're going with this?
Well, one, I think it's serious and I think it's there, and it actually already is doing two things.
Because you and I are from the old school, bro. We had to think for ourselves, right?
Relationships, all copywriting, visuals, building companies through real people. We did all that. Like we both did it. Um, I'm already seeing AI do two things. It's disrupting industries, but it's helping people have more free time if they use it right, and helping them build their business in a more systemized way. So it's giving them more free time. Like one tool, I didn't fire, but I lowered the hours, and three different people that I employed work a little bit less, and I help them find things. I'm caring to the extent where I'm not the ruthless type. You're gone. AI is replacing you. I know that they provide for their families, so I make sure that they're taken care of. But AI is helping people, and AI is also disrupting and hurting families because they're getting fired. People are getting fired because of AI. Like real families that have real salaries are just getting fired by one tweet. So it's really happening. It's in real time. And for me, I think this isn't about AI replacing humans. It's about AI equipped humans outperforming and replacing people that don't use AI at all. So I think in business, you have to understand it and you have to realize the power of it. And if you understand it, you have to let it supercharge you. My main focus is my family and freedom, right? I will always serve others. I will always do content because I feel called to help people. But in terms of AI, I'm not obsessed with it. I don't love it or hate it. I'm going to use it if it gives me more freedom, more time with my wife. I'm going to use tools if it gives me more freedom to be with my kids. Someone, AI sucks. It's so bad. Well, that's fine. That's your opinion. I'm using it, and I have 3 extra hours with my wife. So I love AI because of that. Right? Does it hurt families? Yes, but it's all about context of how you view it. So I think it's making certain people lazy, and I think there's so many things online that people don't know if they're true or not, that people are going to get back to the basics. I think social media will take a little bit of a hiatus. My personal opinion, people are so sick of the fake stuff and they're so sick of so much AI. They're going to go back to our grandparents' age where you sit and have coffee with no phone. You shake people's hands. You build real relationships. You all go outside and play. I bought acres in Idaho years back so my kids could be raised in the country, right? We have 3 or 4 acres out here. We have goats. My wife, just keep this in mind. My wife ordered peacocks. What am I going to do with a peacock? We have peacocks coming. We have 20 chickens. The kids just grow up riding dirt bikes and running around. We have a big trampoline. It's amazing. But I think people are going to go back to that. If you look at the top 4 or 5 states people have moved to the most the past 4 or 5 years, A, they're all the Republican states. B, they're all states that have laws about freedom and acres and amazing areas. So, I mean, I think it's happening. I think long term, there might be some scary things happening. But if you do all you can to position yourself so your family's protected, you have a business that grows, your investments are trunk tight, you have money working for you, I don't think AI can touch you. You know what I mean? You just got to make sure you're aware. I talked about this at the event real quick. I think this will be valuable. I think there's 3 types of people in the next 10, 20 years that will really thrive. The first type is the tech people, the people that really understand AI. They've mastered it. They've built a big AI platform. Maybe they're really good at blockchain. They understand algorithms and crypto. That's not me. That's like the brainy people that are just really good with that. They're going to make millions and probably billions. The second type of person is the superstars, the top 5% of every industry. I think in the last 10 years, being mediocre, you could still make money. I think that era's gone. I think if you're mediocre, you're going to have a really hard time making money, creating market share, and really getting customers because people see the BS. They see through all the fake gurus and things like that. And I think the 5% will make a killing because they're the best. And I don't care if it's gardening. I don't care if it's podcasting. I don't care if it's mortgage broker or speaker or authors or comedians. Most comedians are broke. I think Kevin Hart made 60 million. Jerry Seinfeld's worth 400 million. Most comedians are broke, right? So the top 5% of every industry will crush it. So what does that mean? You have to get really good at what you do, and you have to work in your strengths and work in your gifts. If you don't work in your strengths and gifts, it's going to be hard to compete. And what your strength and gift is what you do with the least amount of effort that makes the most impact and the most income. So figuring that out, that's number two. So my point is, if someone's average, I think it's going to be really hard. I think AI will replace average people. And then the third one, Joel, is people that have access to capital and access to the right people. Like if you have access to the right network and the right capital, you'll be good forever. So you have to be one of those three. If you're not one of those three, you better watch out. Like it's scary.
It's true. It's true, man. Yeah, I went to one of your events, Seven Figures Society event, at Dan Fleshman's spot. That was really cool. That was in Temecula, yeah, out here in Cali. And just the caliber of people that were in the room. And then also, you know, I connected with a lot of them there. And this was maybe a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years. And I still see them on social media today, and the scale that they've done with their businesses, they're like popping all over, like TV interviews, podcasts. I mean, it's pretty cool. And I can see the result of, you know, what it means to be in the room with the right people. Tell us just a little bit about your event, because I think it's important for anyone that's listening, especially with the Addicted to Success audience that's tuning in right now. They're so in alignment with your mindset, I can tell you. That's another reason why we connected a long time ago. But it's just so easy for you and I to have conversations about this because our audience is aligned. So like if someone's listening, they go, I love what Peter's sharing. I want to, you know, connect. Obviously, they can go to sevenfiguresociety.com. So there's 2 S's in the middle there, sevenfiguresociety.com/event, and you can apply. But just tell us a little bit about what we can expect there, because it seems like pretty high level and pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Thank you. That's just my main area of genius, and bringing high level people together in intimate settings. There's just nothing like it. Bringing in different experts. Me and Gerard have done a couple events. You've been at some of my events. I've had all kinds of people there, surprise guests, but it's just a VIP experience. And really, it happened, I think, in 2021. And during COVID, I reached out to like 15 of the most successful people I knew. And I asked them what they're doing to pivot. And I talked to David Goggins, Lewis Howes, Robert Kiyosaki, Gerard. I talked to Bedros Keuilian, all kinds of big names. And I realized that the biggest key is having access to the right people. And I remember in crypto, what changed the game in crypto for me, Joel, is I was talking to a kid. I was trying to get into the right plays, and I was trying to trade. I was trying to like stay up all night and figure out what the best play is, talking to YouTubers. Then I talked to this kid. He showed me $5 million in 3 different accounts. He had $15 million in crypto. He was 16. I actually got mad. I was like, I'm mad. I'm like, how do you have $15 million and you're 16? And then from knowing him and some of his introductions, I was able to make $1 million the next 5 or 6 months in crypto. So I realized, I have chills. I realized at that time, I need access. Access is everything. I don't care if you're 15, 16, 27, 50. If you have access to the right people and the right opportunities, the right blueprint, the right rooms, it's everything. So people always complain, oh, this 18-year-old's making millions of dollars. My friend's broke and he's 40. Well, people complain and say, I have 20 years of experience. I should be paid more. No, you have 1 year repeated 20 times. If you're not becoming more valuable and improving your network or your access, what makes you think you expect more money? So a lot of people are mad that these young kids are making so much money. They have access. So that's the power of why I started these events. We've been doing events since 2017. You've been to a couple. I've been to some of yours. They've been amazing. And I used to do 50 person, 100 person. I've spoke at 3,000 people events with Ryan Pineda and some other guys. I've had amazing success speaking, but still too many people. Even the one in Temecula, Joel, was about 50 people and I liked it. But I said, I need them a little bit more tight. So now they're between 20 to 25 people. And we handpick them. People have to apply. We vet them, and it's just an exceptional experience. The breakthroughs people have because they have access to the right people. Every problem is solved before they leave. And what's crazy is it's not just about business results or collaborations. It's about having someone at a high level that's always felt isolated to connect. We had someone there that runs one of the top clothing companies in the world. I think you know who I'm talking about. Does millions, but he said, Peter, and me being the entrepreneur I am, I have never once spoke to any of my problems or fears or frustrations with anybody else because everyone looks to me as the leader. I have to play the part of Superman. I can't share my feelings or ask anybody anything because I'm expected to always be the performer. And he goes, this has been the best event I ever been to because I've been able to actually not vent, but ask other people what they're going through and relate to them. And it's been amazing. So that's why I've been doing these. It's just the access, man. And we do VIP experiences. We did snowmobiling up in Aspen, and this one we're doing lakeside. So we're going to wake surf, jet skis. We're doing a dinner on a houseboat. We're doing bonfires on the beach. We're doing like fly fishing, some ATV stuff. But the caliber of people going is just exceptional. And there's one of my biggest breakthroughs I've ever had, which is why I do these things, even with having a family. This is the one thing I like to do is these small events, is you don't have to solve your own problems when you have the right network because your network will solve them for you. The biggest reason I went from broke to six figures and 6 to 7 figures in my early 20s was my network and access. It wasn't my knowledge. It wasn't my skills. I dropped out of college. I'm from a small town of 6,000 people. No one around me had money. It's because I elevated my network, I got access, and I saw the future in a sense, and I took action on it. So that's why, man. I'm not used to selling the event because people usually reach out to me and they have to sell themselves. So it's kind of funny to sell it, but they could check it out. And we talk about very deep things, where money's going, the best investments, money supply, AI, and really how to create an unstoppable and unbreakable business that can't be taken from you. That is so bulletproof that it's future proof. And your family's protected for generations. So it's deep stuff that most people don't have access to. The conversations are top notch. So I'd love, if anyone feels like they're called or feels qualified, I'd love to have them reach out. And also we have some other stuff too for people to explore. But what I've done, Joel, the past 6 or 7 years is everything is application based now. Just because everyone talks a great game. They talk, I'm going to crush it. I'm going to be the best entrepreneur. But most people don't live it or aren't serious. So we want people that are a little more serious and have a little proven track record and are established in a sense, or at least put in the work and failed a little bit. I like to have everyone there gone through enough pain where they have a little bit of grit, a little bit of edge.
Yeah, it's not for dabblers.
Not perfect pass. I need people that have some pain, some war wounds, like some scars. I like those kind of people. It gives them an edge. Someone that's had no failures and nothing that they've ever gone through. I had better conversations with my 3-month-old.
Yeah. I love it. I'm gonna put a link in the show notes. So you can just, if you're listening right now, hey, I need to get amongst it. I need to be in there. I'm all for it. Just click on that link. Again, 7 Figures Society. So all one word, 7 Figures Society. .com/event. Okay, so check it out. Or you can go to Peter's Instagram. He's got the link there on his bio, right?
And I'd love if anyone that reaches out, I love hearing certain breakthroughs like this. Something you said here really changed my perspective because that's what helped me when I was coming up is little bits of wisdom that gave me a tipping point. So yeah, reach out, say it's from Joel's podcast. I'd love to connect or at least learn if I helped you at all. And I really appreciate you. So yeah, keep going. I just wanted to let people know.
Awesome, bro. Yeah, I want to speak into being a father before we wrap this up because we do have a lot of parents that listen to this podcast as well. Give maybe just 2 points of top advice that you feel, because I know you've read lots of books around it, but you've also implemented. You're a man of action and integration as well. 2 things that you would leave for somebody that has kids and wants to raise them to be, to be confident, and also to have that, that reliance, that resilience, because we are moving into a world that's going to require a lot of resilience for sure.
100%. And the first thing, I'll give a little bonus tip. The first thing is you have to realize that kids spell love Time. So they don't spell love with accomplishments or money or all these things that people think they do, because people validate, I'm working just for my family, but they're working 7 days a week. Your kids don't care. They'd rather have you be broke and present, right? Because that builds a stronger family. So it's not just about the finances. You have to be present mentally and physically and emotionally. So kids spell love Time. And one of the biggest breakthroughs I had was realizing, and it's such a simple philosophy, but I used to beat my head like every night, like, how do I teach self-control? How do I teach like disciplined kids? And I learned from someone I respect that has 9 kids. And listen to this, he's 9 for 9, which means all kids are world class, all homeschooled, world class kids. And he said something to me, and it's so simple thinking about it. He said, if you really want kids that have self-control, display self-control. If you really want patient kids, be patient. And I'm like, because I want self-control in my kids, but then I'll get triggered and react quick. How can my kids have self-control if I'm reacting quick based off emotion? So whatever you want in your kids, you have to live it first. Kids do not pay attention always to what you say. They watch how you live. So that's a big one for me, is if I want my kids to be happy and healthy, have emotional regulation, I need to control my emotions. Another key is how you treat their mom is probably one of the biggest things that you can do to show the kids how to live well, is how you treat their mom, right? So, and the last thing I'll say is, how do I say this? If the world's tougher on your kids than you are, they're doomed. They're done. And most parents, the world's tougher on their kids than them, which is why they're living with their parents when they're 28. The parents weren't tougher on them in the world. So I have to be tougher on my boys, especially my boys. For example, I was making a smoothie, like we do specialty smoothies. And I said, Sienna and Loretta, you guys get smoothies because you're beautiful and amazing. Wyatt and Santana, you guys go need to do your box jumps and go work out, then you get a smoothie. So my son used to say, that's not fair. Why does she get it? Well, I'm like, I raised them differently. I raised girls different than boys, right? So if you're not, that's all I'd say. If you're not tougher on them than the world, they're going to have a really rough ride. So I need to make sure I train them properly and equip them with how to be resilient and how to be tough, how to deal with their emotions, how to have the proper mannerisms, how to shake a hand, how to move, how to negotiate, how to read people, how to read the room. That's my job, because if the world teaches them that, it's going to be hard. And then I would also say, like, parent the heart, not just the behavior. So like if they hit their brother, don't hit your sister. Why did you feel the need? What was the emotion you felt that allowed you to do that? And speak to the heart and not just the behavior. And I think that's, and another thing I learned from Patrick Bet-David when I was at his house, he said the biggest piece of advice I could ever give on parenting, and it stuck with me: always follow through on your word, especially with consequences. So the second you tell a kid and you say, hey, if you do that one more time, you're going to your room. If they do it again, they don't go to the room, they will subconsciously try to get over on you. And it's not good. It's not good parenting, because you're letting them get over on you. You're teaching them that it's okay to not follow through on your word. So every time I ever say something happens, I have to follow through. And if I follow through on it, they know Daddy doesn't mess around. I don't do it in an emotional way. I say, Santana, if that happens again, because I care about you and I want you to be a leader, the consequence will be you have to go to your room. Okay, Dad, sorry. And if he does it again, you have to go to your room. But no, if you argue, there's gonna be some other consequence. And I say it calmly. So those are the things I'd give them: is try to parent to the heart, not just the behavior. Kids go through so much. They don't know how to control their emotions. So ages 2.5 to 5, they have no boundaries in their head. So you can't ever get mad at something they do that you didn't tell them they can't do. I don't care if it's like writing on the wall, like putting paint in their hair. You can't get mad at stuff. You can't let things trigger you because some part of your childhood got triggered and then take it out on the kid, right? So I've learned. I mean, we could talk about this. This could be a whole
This
podcast.
is so good. This is so good. I love this topic. There's so much value just in that. Yeah, and I'm sure you had to learn how to regulate your nervous system as well, because they have no tools to know how to do it. And
Except you.
yeah, well, that's it. Like, and we've had 40 some years on this earth. We should know by now. If we think that our kids are just going to magically regulate themselves with no tools, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I love this. We could definitely do a whole episode on this. We're going to hang out again soon in person. But yeah, anyone listening, come down to the event. Apply obviously first if you feel that you can cut the mustard on it. That's a big call. But it would be a great event if you can make it through. And Peter, man, I appreciate you. One last thing before we go, because I know you got a family you got to be there for right now.
Joel always has one last question, by the way.
Always.
Guys. Always.
Always.
Always has another question. I love it.
If you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like?
Pooh, that's tough. I think I'd say everything is possible and everything can change for you if you put God first and you live right. You make the tough decisions when no one's watching. And if you make every decision off biblical truth and what your 85-year-old self would be proud of, you will live an exceptional life. And the biggest key to an exceptional life is leading by example. So when people ask you, how do I inspire my mom, my sister, my friend? You don't. You live your best life. And if you walk the walk, you don't need to talk the talk. And when you put God first, he will put you exactly where you need to be. And it's always on his time, not yours. And when you understand that, there's a sense of peace that's indescribable, but you have to do it first.